Is it fairly easy to figure out how to drive a single screw trawler?
There are just some great nights where we're literally in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
On the hook, you know, cooking out back, and all of the whimsical stuff that you hope for.
Rick, what is involved in commissioning a boat?
Well,
hey guys, welcome back to the harbor. My name's Brian, down here in South Gulf Cove, Florida today. I've got a beautiful 43-foot North Pacific to show you, getting a full tour. Gonna have a conversation with the owner towards the end as well. And the owner actually helps commission these, or he did in the past, so super knowledgeable and friendly guy. And he's letting me take a look at the boat. It is a 2008, again, North Pacific. First time I had been on a North Pacific was not too long ago at the Trawler Fest in Fort Lauderdale, and I toured a 45 and a 49. That video is a few videos back. Those were closer to new, but this one is a 2008, and she is holding up great. The boat is currently for sale, but looks like she's got a buyer. Nice boats go quick, but let's take a look anyway. And where do we get inside? These things are finished out very nicely. Full beam salon, very spacious. So let's move forward right away to the bow rail going around. I mean, this thing is nearly at my shoulder. Very safe, solid. Got bow pulpit with nice stainless plate there, keep it from scratching. Samson post with a Vetus windlass. Just very, very deep bulwark gunnels. This looks like about 4-inch bulwark. Just feels very safe and stout. The boats I was on recently, and probably what they're making now, are white. This one has a bit of a cream color to it, kind of like a Grady white, which I like. Not sure if I'd prefer white or cream. You know, they're both pretty neat. Take a look here. We got some access for some lines. A lot of access for storage here. Another deeper locker, 4 lines. Stainless house hole, the boat cleat. Now you have access to the bridge on both sides. A quick peek here at the helm. And you have a third access / exit down into the cockpit. I'll show you in a minute. WD 600 steelhead marine lift for your tender. Here's the access heading down into the cockpit with teak. The newer model that I was on recently did not have that, so nice little feature there. And here we have the exit stairwell, integrated steps. You got marine grade canvas, 2008, and cushions are still in pretty good shape. You're really up here. It's very high, good visibility. She is powered with Cummins diesels, single screw with bow and stern thruster. So with a single, you definitely want to have a stern thruster, and of course you almost always want to have a bow thruster. Ray Marine electronics, window looking in. Now she does have a bimini top as opposed to the hard top, and the radar arch folds down. Should be pretty simple, and so she is definitely loop capable. And the owner said she is a fantastic, great loop boat. Let me look in here real quick. Slow down. Kind of excited to show you guys the inside. Propane and hatches underneath all of the seat cushions. All right, let's head down to the cockpit. The cockpit is perfect, not too big, so following seas aren't going to fill the back end. Good scuppers, transom door, and it is solid. you guys the name. It's hailing out of Port Charlotte, Florida. Galapagos. Nice safety rails here on the swim platform, integrated platform. And you do have a, looks like about a 4-inch walkway with the handrails on top. You can get by if you needed to, but otherwise you generally are going to set your fenders from the bridge, and this gives you maximum space inside. Swim platform, all right, swim ladder under that hatch. And here we have more, another propane, and over in this to starboard we have our electrical outlet. Old Glory flying in the back, nice touch. Here to starboard we've got an access door. Heading into the salon, pretty stainless handle, solid ship-like feeling door, and this is really, to me, just what makes these boats so special. The interior, the woodwork. I've washed this boat a few times for the owner, and he said, "Go ahead and take a look in." Last time I was here, and I was really blown away. This is a custom, semi-custom boat, so he has the galley and the salon seating area configured differently, and you can too have it set up however you like if you build new. Lots of storage, louvered doors, a good spot here to charge your phones, keep some books out in the galley. Great visibility right out to the cockpit. Feels very comfy and cozy in here. A lot of natural light coming in. Double stainless sink. Got a 3-burner propane princess oven. Nova Cool refrigerator. Very pretty woodwork, satin finish, I believe. I think it's ash wood. I heard on another video, but you just look at this really nice woodwork. All right, let's head down. Ours have very nice rugs covering the teak and holly floor. So to port here we have very comfortable guest room. Very deep storage locker there that is lighted. I don't know if you noticed that, but the light came on as I opened it. Comfy spot right there. Here we have the head. Very big, comfortable shower. There's a little light on the subject for you. Tecma head. Pretty big counter space actually. A lot of room here. Fan for ventilation, more storage, port light. Boat smells great. Little slider shower door. And a V-Berth. Very big, spacious V-Berth, steps in and out on both sides. One quick thing I'll show you, the owner was telling me, here you have access to the underside of the helm. So electrical work shouldn't be too much of a problem. Get a little 3-step ladder in here and you can go to work. Doors feel very heavy, smooth. Open and close very smoothly. Yeah, very pretty boat. Let's see what we got under here. Sneak peek to the engine room. And there's the Cummins diesel. You know, I think I'm just gonna go in this way so I don't have to bother the owner to lift the carpet and table up into the hatches. So we're just gonna leave the lights off. I've got a flashlight and nose around a bit. I love this flooring, and then also visibility directly into the bilge. Fuel tank, looks like a fiberglass fuel tank integrated on each side of the single diesel. Now again, I'm in here with the floor down, so if we take the floor up, I would have a lot more room. Air conditioning, Northern Lights generator, 2008, so 17 years old and looking good. Looking very clean. There we got our electrical panel, neatly wired. Yeah, I'd love to own one of these. More and more I'm seeing these boats, the more I'm liking the idea of a single screw. Alright, that's really nice actually, because you simply quickly access the bilge and make sure the pumps are pumping, and the engine room in case you just want to nose around a bit. Otherwise, of course, we pull up the flooring here and we have complete access. Alright, let's head up to the helm. Yeah, this is a proper Pilothouse. Got access doors in and out, starboard and port. Here you got our electrical panel, DC main, cabin lights, headlights, bridge lights, macerator pump, hallway lights, lots of lights, saloon lights or salon, oil change pump, engine room blower, generator, charger and inverter. And there we've got our Northern Lights generator with 560 hours. Let's see if I can get the hours from the owner if I remember. And here we have our 120 volt AC panels and breakers with our battery charger system. Nice little instrumentation panel. Again, we've got the bow and stern thrusters, and like I said, good visibility all the way around. Nice settee back here for the navigator or the first mate to help keep watch. Vinyl headliner. And nice little nav desk here on both sides. I imagine you could sit here and have your computer set up, laptop, and get a little work done as you're easing along. Let's see what we got for storage underneath. Here we got access to the AC condenser or air handler, I believe. Here's more of that curved wood finish. Now for continual walkthrough on this 2008 43-foot North Pacific. All right, guys, I'm here with the owner of this boat, Rick. What made you land on North Pacific?
Oh, the reason I picked North Pacific is because I could get a Salon that's gunnel to gunnel. So I have the full width of the boat, and North Pacific will customize a boat. So I had them set mine up so that I could have a separate couch and then a place for a nice recliner and the TV and stereo. Yeah. Because the intent for me was long distance cruising, which is exactly what we did, and it's been terrific.
All right. And you guys did do the Great Loop?
We've done parts of it.
Okay.
But we didn't do the whole thing.
Right. What parts did you like that you did do?
Well, we did up through Hudson River, Erie Canal, and then the Canadian portion, and then we had to come home. So.
Right. Home all the way back to South Florida.
Yes.
So what was your favorite?
No, actually that was Connecticut at the time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
So did you bring it from the Northeast down home?
I did. And
okay.
Once again, it's just the most wonderful cruising boat.
Right.
Because we have everything. I mean, it's, we got 3 air conditioners, and you're always comfortable.
Right.
There's a grill out back. It just it's as easy to travel in as a small house.
Yeah. What was your favorite stop that you like from what you did cruise?
Gosh, I don't remember. Probably Charleston. Yep. It's just a great city.
Yeah, we were just talking about Charleston.
So much to do.
And Savannah, those two right next to each other are really pretty.
But the other thing, I really like in Georgia, there's the intercoastal loops back and forth a lot. And there's a lot of anchorages out there.
Okay.
And this boat is set up for not being in a marina.
Right.
That's always what I prefer. And there are just some great nights where we're literally in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
On the hook. And it's just beautiful, cooking out back. It's just all of the whimsical stuff that you hope for.
Right. Yeah, I didn't really even think about that. You just think cruising along the coast, you're stopping in marinas, but really only if you have to, right? It's so much nicer just to find a calm bay.
I try not to be in a marina, and that's why I set the boat up. I mean, we have a 9 kilowatt generator, for heaven's sakes. There's no need to be plugged in.
Right. And what did she have for power in her?
It's a Cummins, and I think it's 350.
Okay.
Yeah.
And very, very reliable, easy, never issues.
They're terrific.
Yeah.
It's the same engine. The pickup trucks are using this engine.
And you hear some people say, well, I'm afraid not to have a twin engine. What if something happens? Ever have any issues where...
Well, good question. We're primarily coastal cruisers, so we were always easily in reach of towboat or boat US. So that's the first answer. Second one is the dinghy is always an auxiliary power if we needed it. So, everybody thinks about the belt and suspenders, but at the end of the day, after all these years, I haven't needed it yet.
Tell me a little bit about North Pacific. We were talking about it, and actually you've helped commission boats for them. It sounds like a really great company.
I have. They are a terrific company, and I can tell you the 20 or 25 boats I've been involved with, every one of those owners is delighted with the boat. The owner is Trevor Bryce, and he takes a personal interest in each boat. And working for him, it was wonderful. There was never anything that needed to be replaced that didn't get replaced, and there was no... if it was even a hint at warranty, he took care of it. I'm just really, really enjoyed working with him.
Yeah. And if you had to give any tips to a prospective trawler buyer, or maybe someone looking to do some coastal cruising like the Loop, any tips?
Oh, not really. This boat grounds easy. That's kind of pleasant. Not that I had to ever take advantage of it. Right. But it's when you're trying to decide on your boat, you may think that twins are a wonderful idea, but it means that you've got these 2 propellers hanging out there. And if you ever touch ground, you've got a big expense.
No protective skag or keel.
As opposed to this boat, there's a full keel underneath. So actually there's a picture of some guy out in the Vancouver area who's high and dry on a rock, and he had almost no damage. So.
That reminds me, actually, I took some pictures while this boat was on the hard, so I can show that now. All right, guys, well, here she is on the hard. Just got a bottom paint job, and got the hull buffed and waxed. She's a single screw. Your zincs just got taped over so it didn't get painted. Nice skag protecting the propeller. Stern thruster. trim tabs and your exhaust. There's our transducer, through hull intakes. That bow and stern thruster for easy docking. Of course, it's a must with a single screw like this. At least the bow thruster certainly is. All right, Rick, I really appreciate the tour.
Well, thank you for taking the time to take pictures. I'm happy to let people know about these boats because I've definitely enjoyed it and I've kept it for so long. That's why.
Right. Now you have to get their new 50. What do they have? A 59, I think.
Yeah,
or
right.
53.
But I have to buy more lottery tickets.
Yeah. What is involved in commissioning a boat?
Well, when a North Pacific comes in, it's built overseas. So what happens is I would put together a small crew, and we would get permission to get into the container area, which is all under security, and we would climb up on top of the ship and take the cover off where it had been covered from coming overseas. They would then lift the boat out and set it in the water next to the ship, and we would scamper over the side and take the boat away. So that's the first step. We would then go to either the closest marina if we were going to do work before the owners were around, or if the owners were close, we might take it to the owner's marina. Once there, we would do a 100% check of every system. We would try everything. We would run the windlass. We would, check every light bulb, anything you can think of. The other thing that happens with commissioning, though, is if it's a new boat, you'll find it takes a little while for them to get the boat to you if you're having it built custom like North Pacific Yachts. Over that time, you're going to think of extra things you want. So part of the commissioning delay will be because you want a second radio like I did, or a lot of the owners would want a second display, and it would require rebuilding the whole dashboard.
Right.
Not a big deal, but it takes another couple days.
Yeah. Now, would you do that, or then you just coordinate with the subcontractor?
For North Pacific, I was doing that.
Okay.
But it's not a hard job.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes time.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, on this one, in most boats, you could take the whole console apart, and then this panel would come out. You take a new sheet of plywood, put vinyl on it, and then cut the holes for the new equipment.
Wow. So when does the owner generally first lay eyes on the boat or get on board?
Well, very often the owner wants to be with us while we commission. As a commissioner, I just assume, do it myself, because owners can get nervous. I had one owner that there was a place where there was a couple switches, and one pair of the wires was reversed. And ever after that, every time anything came up, he says, well, there was a wiring error. Well, there really wasn't a wiring error.
Right.
It's just, think of the thousands of things that went together to build this boat.
Right.
But I don't know. I guess if I was an owner, I would want to be there for commissioning. Mm-hmm. But as a commissioner, I just as soon do it on my own.
So how long does it take to commission a boat?
Well, when the boats come in, it's always a question that there is no factory that builds a perfect anything. You can buy the 35,000 Chevrolet, and there's still something wrong with it.
Yeah.
So custom boats have an opportunity. Typically, a North Pacific will come in, and it only takes a few days, if that. There's just so many things to check. But rarely do we have to have any real serious repairs. Now, if that were to happen, or and it took a little longer, we would just stick with it. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, the air conditioning systems, when you buy a brand new boat, it seems that there's a little bit of a problem when the technician tightens all the fittings the first time, he thinks they're tight enough, but not necessarily. So that takes a day or two for the air conditioning expert, which I'm not, to come over. He checks it all out, and typically all he does is tighten the fittings and put Freon back in.
Right.
But there's 2 or 3 days right there, so you don't really know what might show up.
Right. And are you the captain that then takes the owners for their sea trial and make sure that they're happy? And maybe is there a much training involved in commissioning a boat?
I always enjoyed going with the owner because I love these boats so much. I always got a chance to brag about it.
Right.
Because there's things in these boats like the electrical, the wiring. You can chase a wire. This particular boat, you can take everything apart. And if you're an installer, it means that you can do things that on many boats, it would be difficult.
Right. But is training part of commissioning as far as the owner? Can they expect usually to be trained, or is that extra separate?
I think the owner should ask for it, and I think it should be included. But I have no idea what other people do it. Trevor, the owner of this company, was all the time, please take them out.
Yeah.
You know, he was very happy to have me spend the time, and I got paid for it. I mean, it's a good idea, especially if you're a first-time boat owner or a first-time large boat owner.
Right. What was that like, showing people how to use this boat, in general, for the first time? Are they usually quick learners with the bow and stern thrusters? Like, is it fairly easy to figure out how to drive a single screw trawler, not specific to this boat, but just in general?
I think that people don't have that much trouble learning to run the boat, but I think they need to have things explained to them.
Yeah.
For instance, on a single screw boat, we have a barn door, a huge rudder. We can kick the stern around by putting the wheel hard over and goosing the throttle, and that'll kick the stern over. That's not intuitive if someone hasn't shown it to you. Or coming up to a parallel dock and using the forward momentum of the boat itself to let it come alongside. But failing all that, you just hit the bow and stern thruster and go sideways.
Right. Are you familiar, or do you like the Dockmate system, I think it's called?
I have admired that, and I would love to have one.
Right.
But I've been far too... people sometimes call me cheap. I prefer the word parsimonious.
Well, I'll have to look that up. I think I know what it means, but that's a new one.
Well, I like names. The name of the boat here, it's a gag name.
Yeah, what is the name of the boat and the
Oh, the name of
the gag?
The name of this boat is Callipygus, and the English word is Callipygian. And Callipygian means having a nicely shaped buttocks. In the late 1800s, when they were bragging about their Greek or Latin, how smart they were, you couldn't say hot butt. So that's
funny. That's funny. Well, you see a lot of boat names, and some of them it's just like, man, I've seen that name 15 times. So I'm not sure I've seen this name, and maybe won't again.
Over the 15 plus years I've had the boat, no one has ever known what Callipygus means. And one guy shouted over once and said, it means pretty something, but I don't know.
There you go. He had a little Greek. So the Dockmate, plus you're an experienced captain, so just not really necessary.
It's not necessary, but it is really nice.
Right. Especially if you're not experienced.
Yeah.
Gives you a lot of confidence.
Well, you can walk right over and see the stern. Like on a boat like this, since the turning center is aft of us, the first time you come out, it's like a long dragon's tail back there.
Right.
And new pilots of this boat will sometimes tag the swim platform.
Yeah.
So just because you think that you're a long way away, but since the turning center is aft of us, you're not in the back.
And with the Dockmate, you can get out, look around.
You can stand and look at it.
You can go all the way to the stern. And
I would like one. There's no question.
Okay. Well, maybe on the next boat.
Maybe on the next boat.
So typically when an owner is commissioning any boat, do they get to pick like the ports, or different builders have a designated port that they only work out of?
I've heard that North Pacific picks the port closest to you, where his carrier goes. So I've done New Orleans, Charleston, Savannah, New York, Norfolk. I mean, it's just sort of wherever the container ship is going.
Are the owners generally there to see the boat? Is that like a big event to see the boat being lifted off and splashed for the first time?
An overwhelming majority have been there to see that.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. You've got this big thing. You've been waiting a year for it. It's expensive. You've been filling out your wish list.
Yeah.
To see it come off the ship is pretty much a fun thing to do.
And it comes off with a crane, it's splashed into the water, and are you the first people to get on board on the boat, or does the Port Authority have people that get on board?
No, we're the first ones to be on. We're the first ones to be on the boat, that's right. They pick it up with straps, so they don't need to be on board.
Okay.
But often we'll have somebody come on board.
And they just set it right on the dock? Right next to a dock?
They set it in the water next to you.
And then you get on board, right? You don't get on board before.
Well, actually, more often than not, they bring the boat alongside. These container ships are 1,000 feet long.
Right.
And they bring you close. And one time I had to come over the bow pulpit, but generally they pull you up close.
With the crane.
With the crane, they just bring it over and over, and you step across. And you just don't look down.
Right. So you're doing this in midair?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. And then you hop in and fire her up and off you go.
The scariest one was in Savannah. They picked us up, and we were on the boat. It was like 2 a.m. because the timing can be, you do what the ship's schedule is. They picked us up and ran us all the way across the boat and then back down again.
Wow. Across the ship?
Across the ship, yeah.
On one of the conveyor, like...
those big booms?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they picked it up on this side and carried it over to here and set us in the water.
It's like, don't break.
It doesn't happen very often.
Right.
I think now they don't even allow it. I don't remember being like that anymore. They used to. I think there's a rule now that
new rules. Yeah, OSHA got out there.
Beyond there.
Yeah.
Once, if it falls in the water.
No free rides at the port. So how long does it take if a boat's coming from Asia to come to America?
I think it's about 6 weeks.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
I'm sure it's scheduling and all that sort of stuff.
And it's shrink wrapped.
It is definitely shrink wrapped.
Yeah.
Which is a big part of the job when you're on top of that ship.
Right.
Because the ships don't want that shrink wrap. So not only do you have to take it off, you then have to haul it off the ship and find a dumpster for it.
Right. So do you subcontract like a detailer or somebody to do that and remove like the adhesives and the tape?
Yes. Yeah, we do at the end, right. But the first step is to get it off the ship. That's just remove the plastic. Then we go to a local marina, and things like detailing is generally done.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if you guys have any other questions. If you do, drop them in the comments, and maybe Rick will hang around and he'll answer them. I think that was really cool. I really appreciate the information.